Coming up on the SPNN Forum is one of a series of interviews we're doing with St. Paul's District Councils. Our guests today are Wendy Underwood and Nicole Loran with the Fort Road Federation. Wendy and Nicole, welcome to the Forum.
Thank you.
So can you tell us the Fort Road Federation, which is District 9?
Yeah.
What are the geographical boundaries of that district?
Sure. We run from just on the edge of downtown all the way down West 7th to 35E, and from the river to the bluff.
Okay. And what are your roles with the Federation?
I'm the treasurer.
Okay.
This is my second term sitting there, so kind of just handling the finances and making sure, we have what we need to do the jobs.
Oh, no, it's the most important role. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
And I am the second vice president and have just taken on the role of a fundraising committee chair, we've just established committees in our most recent annual meeting.
Now those are volunteer roles.
Yes.
And are you appointed or elected?
We're elected.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then within the committees, those are more volunteer, and so we've chosen to be on those. I'm sitting with fundraiser with Wendy as well, so yeah.
And those are community members are encouraged and welcome to join those committees, which is one of the ways we've been working on bringing more people into the Fed.
So can you talk? And is that do you guys call it the Fed?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Fort Road. Yeah.
What does your committee structure look like? How many do you have?
Sure. I think we have 3 committees. We have fundraising, which is new and something we're really excited to break into. We haven't fundraised as a federation before. We have a really important land use and transportation committee. With everything going on West 7th, it's really important to get that extra attention. And then we have community engagement, which helps us with our district plans and activities and events.
Yeah. So there is a lot going on West 7th. Kind of it's booming. Tell us what's hot, what's happening on West 7th.
Yeah, I think with Keg and Case opening last year and all of that kind of hustle and bustle down there has been really great. So then it brings light, kind of foot traffic and walkability and bike things. So we really talk about, getting pedestrians, how safely we can get them to cross streets so they can enjoy those kind of events that are going on.
Yeah.
So that's one big topic we always seem to talk about.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely the interest in people moving to the area. And so one thing that we have done is we've added 3 seats to the board dedicated to renters.
That's really
because we are over 50% rental in Fort Road. And to that, there are a lot of prospective development opportunities. For us, what really is important to us is keeping accessible, affordable housing, access to the river, and really honoring the Great River Master Plan. A number of things that we welcome people to the community that keeps the integrity of the great rich history of West 7th and makes it accessible to all.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about what is that history of West 7th? We call it the West 7th Fort Road Federation, but what is?
Yeah.
I think most people now probably know it as West 7th.
Yeah. Oh gosh, well I can't speak to Fort Snelling and the history of St. Paul, but for sure the Fort Road Federation is very proud of its history. It really came about, the Fort Road is I think older than St. Paul's established district council system because it was really rooted in 1973 with the development of 35E through St. Paul and greatly through our neighborhood. And so, because there were plans to demolish Irvine Park for 35E to go through there to connect across the river, as well as demolish a great number of homes where we live today. And so neighbors organized. A number of those neighbors are still very close to Fort Road today. Longtime City Council member Dave Thune was an early member. Our past president, Becky Eust, was very active in that work. And they rallied together to save these really, really important neighborhoods, these beautiful old homes, and the people who living in them. Yeah. So that's really where it started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Have
And
nothing. That's great.
So I think kind of one of the things that's popping that we hear a lot about is there's kind of a burgeoning dining scene on West 7th. I mean, we've got Parlor moved in from, or expanded, I guess, from across the river. Keg and Case has, what is the, and of course, is it Bloom?
In Bloom.
In Bloom, yes, which just I think won a bunch of big awards. But so West 7th is kind of a dining destination now.
Pajarito.
Yes.
Was a great catch for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is. There's just great things. And as part of the fundraising committee, we want to also look at how do we capture on all those great dining destinations we have and kind of look at bringing people, you know, taste of West 7th and different ideas like that just to really experience all there is to offer, not just in the downtown, but moving out towards West, farther down.
Well, of course, it's part of our history to celebrate the breweries of St. Paul, right, all
Yes.
along West 7th,
Yep.
and are grateful for the richness in those. Waldman's is a great example of one style versus Clutch at Keg and Case, and of course, Summit is really is our really, really strong partner, and at the end of Fort Road. I also, though, I talk about in our neighborhood, we have a really super strong coffee scene. Cafe Astoria, like the line on the weekends is amazing. Of course, Clatta's was an early gourmet coffee shop on West 7th. We have amazing roasters in the neighborhood. So so not everyone's into beer, but coffee and tea and the great foods that come with it are great too. And if anything, what we drive in the neighborhood is people coming together. In all of those places, you come together, you sit, you talk, you relax, you enjoy the people and the environment and the rich history, architecture, everything.
So as residents of that district, you know, what have you seen? How has that impacted your kind of day-to-day lives as you live in this kind of new development that's happening?
I find it extremely walkable. You can walk to a lot of different places. Break Bread, which is just a great little destination. They also live in the neighborhood and
They deliver
bread
bread
on
on
bikes.
bikes?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yep. And they're just a great little spot. So it's kind of fun to just get to go out and explore and all that thing. And that's part of, we kind of redid our bylaws and our mission last year, and that's part of it, you know, make West 7th a place where people want to, you know, visit, live, stay, work, and just be an all-around kind of a destination spot.
Well, because that's in its roots too. When the people who built West 7th, I mean, from the start of St. Paul, I mean, coming up off the river into their homes, and so being able to live and work right in those spaces. Schmidt Brewery, you know, contributing to all the homes in that area where people worked and lived. It's absolutely why my family moved to where we are. Cooper's Foods is literally, we're just down from their back entrance, multiple bus stops, extremely accessible. Like we don't and shouldn't be driving on the weekends for sure, or anytime. Like all of those were big factors for us.
And that's doable for you
Yeah.
to spend, like, basically to spend your weekend carless because it's that walkable and accessible.
Yeah.
Nice. So what kind of things is the Federation exploring to make sure that that stays walkable? Because I mean, West 7th is an incredibly busy street and it's wide. So how does that, what can you work on there?
The corners are crazy too.
Yeah.
You can say it.
Well,
we know.
I hadn't even thought about the corner.
Yeah, we've got some different pedestrian walkways they've been testing out in other areas. So by Keg and Case, I'm not sure which street they chose, but you'll see they set out some bump outs and some different things like that. Down by Mississippi Market, they did the same thing to provide pedestrian, you know, pathways and have those kind of slow down areas, which has been really nice. They have it on the corner of Victoria and West 7th as well. So just really trying to make people aware that there are pedestrians and people trying to get across the street.
Yeah.
We organize a lot with the police department too on, I don't remember what they're called, but so to give people tickets when they don't stop
I think
at
it's
a
Stop
crosswalk.
For Me.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
that's exactly it.
Campaign.
Yep.
Yeah, so we do that throughout the summer at a number of really important intersections. And then we're vocal. We talk about it. We bring it up a lot. And I know I try to live it. So you'll see me like walking to wherever I'm going all the time because I need to get somewhere, and to encourage others. I mean, it's one of those things that if people are comfortable doing it and seeing others, then they will too.
Yeah, there's kind of a critical mass there.
Yeah.
Like if you see more people walking, then you think more about walking, and then more people walk.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So what brought you into the district council? Into the federation? How did that work for you?
Yeah. Well, for me, I really didn't know a lot about it. I had a neighbor a couple houses down call and say, "You work in finance, we're looking to, get a treasurer.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?" I said, "Oh, I'll give it a try." And I just loved it. I just thought, wow, how cool to have something like this in my neighborhood. I get to be more informed on what's going on and what decisions are being made. And again, with just updating the bylaws and adding the new committees, even if I'm not sitting on the board, I have another way to be involved by being in those committees or, going to the monthly meetings as well, just to hear what's going on. So it just kind of was like, wow, what a fun way to know what is happening in the neighborhood.
In a way, like I love having Nicole on the board because it's also a way to introduce the work to people who aren't plugged in or who didn't get that call from someone saying, "Hey, would you participate?" I know that's a tough question for me because there's all kinds of reasons why I was like raising my hand to jump up and down to participate. I worked for the city of St. Paul for a while, and when I left that, I promised myself that I would continue to give, but for myself. And Fort Road was just a real natural path for me to be able to keep up on issues and to be able to speak to them and share them and encourage folks' engagement. It's just really super important to me.
Yeah. Well, and it's such an important way to stay plugged into the issues that are affecting your block. Your
Literally.
neighborhood,
Literally.
the street in front of your house. And I think the broader city government can feel a little out of reach sometimes, but the district council is a really accessible way to do that.
Yeah, and you get to know your neighbors and know what their feelings are too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're coming together to find common ground through the neighborhood to really make it what we all want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not everything is a great big building or some great big huge development or project or crisis. I mean, we get to help people who just want to be able to park their car in front of their house, or want to be able to add a garage, or want help supporting an initiative of theirs. I mean, it's and us saying, yeah, absolutely, we want to help you with that too. Like we literally see on our neighbors and small businesses' faces just relief because someone supports them and is hearing them. Yeah. Those things go a long way, and it feels good to do.
Yeah. What has been what surprised you? Has there been a challenge or a good thing that has surprised you to say like, oh wow, I did not expect this out of district council service?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I'd be curious, because you're pretty new.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole process surprised me. Really, I didn't realize that there were councils like this in neighborhoods that really advocated for you. And I think that's what was just shocking, was how much, like Wendy said, the support you can get from a group, and not only that, but it opens it up so that if there's development coming in or something like that, neighbors can come in and say, here's my concerns about it, and really voice their opinions and try to work with developers and saying, hey, we support this, but here's some things we want to see out of this. We want to see access to the river, or we want to see, housing that's affordable, or different things like that. So it really helps us be able to have a voice for everyone in the neighborhood. So that, to me, I'd never realized that was going on, which is kind of great.
Had you ever run for election for anything before?
No, not even in high school. So it's kind of like, this is crazy. And that's one of our community engagement things, is to get more people to run. So it really does feel like an election, really, that there are options for the community to choose from, and doesn't feel like maybe we're just appointed. So we're really getting that community engagement and having a real election feel is our goal, our long-term goal, to have that happen.
You're 1 for 1.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh, she's won twice.
I won twice.
Oh,
yeah.
you're 2 for 2.
Second year. Yeah, exactly.
You're batting 1,000.
Yeah. But I mean, I'd love a little competition. So. Yeah.
Careful what you ask.
I know, that's true.
Yeah, and I mean, same question for you. Is there?
Yeah, I would say two things are how much is done and accomplished on so little cash. I mean, these are not fully funded by the city. There are a couple of programs that the city supports, and that funding, waivers this way and that. Fort Road used to be its own community development corporation, and in the last housing crisis took a huge risk, bought a lot of foreclosed, dilapidated homes, invested in them being rehabbed to sell at an affordable price to help bring in young families, and was extremely successful at that, but we're done with that. And so one of the things that surprises me is how much is done on so little. And then we have an immediate eye to all of the activity because we are asked consistently throughout the month, not just at our regular meetings, to support a variance, an incoming request, a need for patio or liquor license or something, parking spots.
Yeah.
I mean, so we really are seeing how much is happening around us.
Yeah. Do your neighbors know that you sit on the district council, and do they come poke you and ask you questions and advocate for things?
I haven't experienced that yet, but
Yeah, they do. I think they're glad I don't ask them to do anything. I'll ask them to go to the annual meeting, or I'll share things with them. But no, they would do that in the grocery store line, whether I was on the Fort Road or not, probably.
It's just a role that you play in the community. Yep. Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah.
So you talked about your committee structure, and so you both are elected, and then there's an executive director who's hired or appointed.
Yeah.
But these committees are all volunteer.
Yeah.
And so how does that, if somebody who lives in the district wanted to get engaged, what would be a good way for them to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of contact information on our website, which is just fortroadfederation.org. And we're very active on social media. The community volunteer I have on the fundraising committee literally reached out to our ED and said, "Hi, I have this skill and I'd like to do something in the neighborhood." We have people who are interested that way, and we snapped him up. So there's plenty to do for people who have a wide range of interests or needs, or a great resume builder, or a great way to meet people, or for someone who's retired, it's a nice way to give a little bit of time that gives back a lot.
Yeah. Or you can stop by our location. We're in the Rathskeller that just opened in front of Schmidt. We're up there on the top floor, so you can just stop by too. And if Emily's not there, there's stuff to fill out to get contact information. But it's kind of, and there's a bunch of different history pamphlet books too. So if you're really interested in what happened in West 7th area.
And we're right above Rose Street Bakery, so which just opened and is fantastic.
Yeah. So that's you mentioned there's a fundraising committee, and then what were the other two?
Community outreach, and then land use and transportation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is do you have direct kind of engagement with the city council on those, or how does that, as a district council, what does your relationship look like with the city council?
Yeah, the committees aren't directly in with the city council. It's more the executive board and then Emily as well in that piece of it.
I do think our executive director, Emily Northey, I think she meets with our council member on a regular basis. And so it's a very positive relationship. I know the council offices really look to their district councils for guidance and information, and that's an important role we play.
Yeah. And then are there other kind of, either community bodies or organizations or businesses that you're partnering closely with?
Yeah, we partner closely with the West 7th Business Association. Okay. We had a joint task force just going to talk about, different things as far as traffic down West 7th and what that looks like, and really just getting community involvement so that we can have a united front on what we want to see that look like in the future. So we've partnered very closely with them, and that joint task force is continuing on. So it's kind of nice to have that relationship.
I would say too, Summit and Craig Cohen, who developed Kagan Case, are really, really great partners. Yeah.
So did Kagan Case, did they come to the Federation and say, hey, we want to do this kind of out there, super cool
that
thing?
was
Or
before
what was,
my time.
Yeah, we do. I mean, the developer Craig Cohen has been an amazing friend and supporter of Fort Road and of West 7th. I know that. I mean, and the previous staff, we had a big retirement of staff at Fort Road a few years ago, and that economic development director put, I mean, decades into supporting Schmidt Brewery, both turning it into housing with Dominium and then the Kagan Case development. So you can't do anything on West 7th without Fort Road.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so there's a good relationship there.
Yeah, that has been a cool thing. I mean, I remember in my very distant memory when the Schmidt Brewery closed, I think I had some school classmates whose parents were impacted by that, and to see it now come to where
Yeah.
it has in the course of more years than I'd probably like to admit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been wild to watch that.
Yeah, it's great. And then coming up shortly is Oktoberfest there, September 13th through the 14th, which we partner with the Germanic Society, and they put it on, and then we help support it, but it will be in the Kagan Case area again.
Yeah.
So,
So what does that event look like?
oh, there's bands, and there's food, and, beer, and
There's different kind of fun competitions and things every year. They kind of change it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're fortunate to be like a supporter host. Of
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you have any insight as to what will be competitive this year? What are-
No, we don't. And last year they did a parade that we were participating in, so we're hoping
Yeah.
they do that. They did it from Mancini's, and then just down West 7th
Oh,
to
cool.
Kagan Case. So it's kind of a fun little thing to kick it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have
Yeah.
any other events coming up?
That's an important one, and we are hoping to develop a fundraising effort in the neighborhood. Our big events are in the summer when we do a big neighborhood flower garden tour. That is a fundraiser, and then our annual meeting is in April, which is open to the public.
Yep.
Yeah.
And is that when you hold elections as well?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
How long are your terms?
Oh.
That's great. We just with the new bylaws we passed, we just established new terms, and they're I think they're 2 years, and then we're going to stagger them so that the whole board doesn't turn over with that.
Yeah.
But with the area coordinators, there's 3 seats, 1 seat being for renters specifically. So if we don't have a renter run, then that will be an open seat until we get a renter to fill. But so.
And we promote the annual meeting and the opportunity to participate using the community reporter, which is of course a very close partner, as our free monthly newspaper, and on our socials and other places.
Yeah, and so that you are on Facebook and Instagram
Yes.
at West 7th Fort Road.
Yes.
And that's WEST 7TH Fort Road.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So find more info there
Yeah.
on Facebook and Instagram, and then your website is fortroadfederation.org.
Yeah.
And we have 3 committees. Anyone can join?
Yep, anyone can
Yeah.
join. And then our annual meeting, you can run to be, sitting on the executive board, or we have 3 area coordinator spots with 3 people per area.
Okay.
Yep.
And then if someone were interested in running,
Yeah.
is there an application to fill out ahead of time, or do they
Yeah.
just show up and do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's an application. We have questionnaires and all that you can fill out, and then you have to come in and kind of learn the history and
Yeah.
just understand what the Fort Road is and does. There's also, you commit to meeting the second Monday of every month to go to the monthly meetings.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the work that you do in your community. I think this is such an important way to to give back and serve and stay engaged. And thanks for giving us your time today here on the SPNN Forum. So thanks for tuning in. This has been the SPNN Forum. Our guests today were Nicole and Wendy from the Fort Road Federation. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.